Hi everyone, I am Katarina and I am really excited today. It is 5th of July. It means that we have another fancy fold craft challenge for you. On the 5th of every month, we will bring you our own interpretation or our own take on a certain fancy fold that's been assigned to that month by Monica, who is hosting this challenge, aka Paper Mona. And another ladies participating every month in this challenge are Christine from Christine Cards and Things, Monica Crafting with Quinlan Lady, Jenny from Ginger Ninja, and myself. I will have links to all of their YouTube channels in the description box below. And this is an open challenge. Anyone else can join in via our Facebook group, of which I will talk in a little bit later in this video. So today I'm going to use this gorgeous stamp set and the printed papers from Creative Stamping magazine, issue 135, to create an under the sea kind of theme card, which is again something that I haven't done very often in the past. So I'm really excited to sit down to do this one. Now I went off camera, I colored in, cut in some of the images and prepared some of the cutout papers, which I will walk you through now. So for the card base, I will need 2 pieces of 6.5 by 3 inches of cardstock, scored at 2, 4, and 6 inches. And now my card will be quite top heavy. You will see in a minute why. So I do want this card base to be very sturdy. I'm using 300 GSM cardstock and I'm adding both mats and layers on top of this to make it sure it's real nice and heavy. So the mat is this lovely gorgeous holographic blue cardstock. It is cut to 1 7/8 by 2 7/8, and the layers, the lovely printed paper from the magazine, is cut to 1 3/4 by 2 3/4. So I'm left with that very thin 1/8 of an inch of a border. You don't need to do this if you're not making your topper very heavy. You can just get away easily by using just one layer on the base of the card in here. Or if you want a bigger border, you can drop it down by 1/4 of an inch between each layers. So I need 2 pieces of this. You could just see me glue them on using my collage glue, which will also help strengthening the base up. And I already prepared one off camera, and now I'm just going to glue these 2 together. I use my collage glue, which takes a little minute to dry, so it's not a very quick grab glue. If you're looking for an instant bond, I do not recommend that you use collage. I love using the collage glue because it leaves it so nice and sturdy, really super strong. So this is my go-to glue for card bases and matting and layering. So on the other tab, I also am going to add my glue, and I'm just going to join these 2 together. So you can see how I got my hexagonal card base in here. Such a lovely fold, honestly. I really enjoyed making these. I can see why so many people love this fold. I definitely will come back and revisit this one. Another piece of cardstock is cut to 2 inches by 10 inches and scored down at 3, 5, and 7 of an inch. So there's 3 inch of a sections on either end and 2 inch of a sections in the middle in there. So this is the same width as the middle part of my hexagon. All the panels in here are 2 inches wide, but if you're working with different width, make sure this is cut to the width of your middle section. So I'm adding my collage glue on either end of the 3 inch sections in there. And I am going to fold this inside the card, making sure that it sticks behind the middle panels on the front and on the back of the card as well. I hope I'm explaining this quite well. Now, if you're just going to work with a light topper, you can leave your card base as it is now. It would work absolutely perfectly, but because I mentioned already that my topper is going to be quite heavy, I want to extra strengthen this. So I'm just going to add some springy concertina fold cardstock in the middle in there. I've seen other creators do this, and I think it's a fantastic idea. The piece of cardstock I have here measures 1 3/4 by 9.5, and it's 1 3/4 of an inch because it needs to fit behind that 2 inch of section without obstructing the other sides. So I just cut down to 1/4 of an inch from there, and you can see how nicely and easily it will fit in there. You can go narrower, but just don't go wider than the width of your middle section. So this one is 1 3/4 by 9.5, and on the 9.5 inch, I'm going to score down at 3/4 of an inch, 1.5 of an inch, 2 1/4, 3 inches, then 4.5, 5 1/4, 6 inches, 6 3/4, 7.5, and 9 inches. So now you can see that somewhere going towards the middle of the card, you have that wider section. So I'm folding up the seam direction, both wings, so to speak, from there. And now from there, I'm going to start folding this into a concertina, in and out, and until I'm going to get that lovely concertina fold. So in and out again. And then using that 1/2 inch of a tab, I'm going to glue it onto the very outermost concertina, 3/4 of an inch of a section in there. And this is all that I need to do. It's quite easy to do. It's a bit awkward to explain, but once you're doing this, it just really speaks for itself. So I'm just adding a quick grab glue this time, which has dried in because I forgot to put my pin back in there. Does this happen to you? Constantly happens to me. I'm kind of fed up with washing all these little tappers. So I'm adding my quick grab glue in there and folding it back into the concertina fold. And now you will need 2 pieces of these. So I have already prepared one ahead of time. I'm just fixing it up a bit wonky in there. But I have already prepared one ahead of time. And I'm going to glue these together. I start using my quick grab glue, but then decide to change to the color. So that's the only reason I'm using both, because I forgot to use the color glue in the first place. So I'm just going to glue these together, making sure there's a nice straight bond between the two of them. And then I'm going to add this inside of the card by adding the glue on the 2 ends of there. And again, I'm going to use my collage glue. Oh, what I forgot to mention, do not burnish these fold lines for this concertina fold. If you burnish them, it will go down too flat. I want the spring to come up nice and wide. So when you take the card out of the box or the envelope, it will spring wide open. And this is the card base ready. It is time to work on our topper. So here are some of the images that I've stamped, colored, and cut out. You can see how cute they are. That seahorse is just so super cute. Now I'll bring it up to the camera. You can see some sparkle on it and some shine on the lobster there. So I've colored these images in after stamping them with VersaFine Onyx Black ink using the Aqua Markers by Spectrum Noir. And I also heat embossed them. I heat embossed them using Wow Sparkle embossing, clear sparkle embossing powder, and clear gloss embossing powder on some of them. So I've cut out loads more, but I'll not get to use all of these today. But check back, because they're too cute to throw out. I will definitely use them in a future project again. To start out my topper, I brought out my nestable dies by Creative Craft Products. These are the oversized hexagons. And I took the 7th, 8th, 9th, and the 10th from there, if you have the same set. And I've used out of these 4, the largest one and the smallest one to cut out one frame. And then I used the 2 middle ones to cut out a narrower frame. So the wider one is that lovely blue holographic cardstock. And the narrower one is one that came with the digital papers. With the magazine, I printed it out, and it is that lovely aqua tealy kind of color. So that's what I cut the thinner frame out with. I layered them up together. As you can see, I prepared that ahead of time. And then, using the largest hexagon, I've cut out one of those designs from the printed paper pads. And I also cut that same one out from white heavyweight cardstock, just to layer these up on top of each other, because I want this to be a nice and sturdy topper. So the paper that I printed on, I think is like 170 GSM, so I added a 300 GSM white heavyweight cardstock just behind it. And I'm using my collage glue again for extra strengthening in there. I've cut out an acetate using the exact same largest one of those hexagons. I'm going to add it behind that frame, and I just want to show you that the hexagons that came out from the frame there are perfectly good hexagons to use in a future project. So do not throw out anything like this, because you can make another lovely topper for a different card. Now I have already added some double-sided tape behind this, and I'm just going to remove the backing of those so I can attach my acetate to this bed. Now, because I'm going to make a shaker card, I need to attach some foam tape behind this frame. How lovely they lined up there together. Now I'm going to use a foam tape which I had to cut down in half length, so I like to attach my 1-inch strip to baking paper, and then it is just very easy to cut it down in half so it will fit behind that frame. Now I'm just going to go around the whole hexagon, and I'm attaching the foam tape, making sure that there are no gaps between, so no shaker elements will start falling out between the gaps of the foam, between the two, where the two foam tapes meet. Goodness me, my words are failing me today, guys. Now in here I'm not gluing anything down yet. I just want to see what way I will want to arrange these things. So some of these I will glue on the backing, so under the acetate, and some of these things will be on the outside of the acetate. So I'm just kind of doing a little layout in here, and I'm kind of going to stick with this here, what I'm doing. Making sure that I'm pulling it away enough from the sides so the foam tape won't stick onto the heat embossed images, because I really don't want there to be any bulking or gaping where then the shaker elements, because I will be using some finer glitter to would fall out. So once I'm happy with how it looks, I had to go and choose a sentiment, and I chose a sentiment from the stamp set, and this one says "Seize the Day." I was going to stamp it separately on a piece of cardstock and glue it on, but then I decided I'm just gonna go ahead and straight onto that background, just using the the black VersaFine Onyx black ink. White, goodness me. And I'm just stamping it onto the background there, and I'm happy with how it looks. However, it doesn't stand out too much, so I decided to add some gloss to it by using a clear gloss embossing powder. And I'm just going to heat set that, and because of the shine and all, it won't get lost behind all those lovely embellishments, but it will stand out nicely with them. So I'm taking my heat tool, heat embossing it, and then I'm going to start arranging my little elements on it. I'm using quick grab glue in here, and I'm going to apply lots of pressure to make sure every single bit of those elements is glued down. While I'm doing this, working away in there, I would like to mention to you all that next month we are not going to have a fancy fold craft challenge. We are going to skip August for a little summer break, and we will be back with another lovely make in September, so the 5th of September, and every month from then on. However, if you like our videos coming in every month, you will not be left without a fancy fold challenge completely, because you can always check out our lovely Facebook group. It's such a lovely crafty community, and I will leave a link to it in the description box below, where you can not only check out everyone else's makes, but you can also share your own. And if you don't like Facebook or you don't use Facebook, you can still share your makes on any of the social media platforms by using our hashtag FFC Challenge 2023, and we will be sure to check out all your lovely makes. Now you could see me pick out some blue sequins from my box, and also some seashells, which you will see a close-up in a minute of. Now in here I'm just gluing down some of those lovely blue ones. They are darker blues and more aqua colored ones in there as well, and I thought that went very well with the frame, that blue shiny cardstock that I'm using on the frame. And I wanted to add just some of those seashells, which are white holographic one with like a bit of a pinkish purplish tint to them. You'll see in a minute. And in here I'm adding just some of the starfish as well, just letting them loose, not gluing them down. They'll be able to freely move with all the sequins. And also glitter that you will see me add in soon, because in here I decided it was too much of that blue. While it's a lovely sequence, I really love the shine of them, but it covered up too much of my lovely colored in images, and there was certainly no point doing all that work to cover them up. So I decided to bring in some chunky glitter, and one of the glitters that I'm going to use is the Crystal Chips by Cosmic Shimmer. It's a lovely white shiny glitter, and it's chunky, so it's not not a fine glitter. So I'm removing more of the blue sequins, and I'm just adding some of those little shells that you can see. And then I'm going to just throw some of that glitter on top. But in here I thought it was still missing something, so I brought in another glitter, and it is the Frozen Fantasy Chloe's Creative Cards, and it's lovely dark teal turquoise glitter, and it's such a lovely color change in it too. It's like real like an optical illusion, I'd say. It's a beautiful glitter. So I'm just going to remove the backing of my foam tape there all around the frame, as you can see, mixing up the glitter with the sequins. I'm just spreading it out, and I'm reinforcing it with some liquid glue as well. And I'm making sure that I apply even very good pressure all around that hexagon. I do not want to start those glitters to start escaping. It's such a lovely topper in here. I really am loving how this is coming together. And now it is time to decorate the outside. This is the bit that I find the fussiest, the most fiddly out of the whole card. Covering the little images with double-sided red liner tape was just quite fiddly. Next time, if I was to do this, after coloring in the images before fussy cutting them, I would probably add some double-sided tape or double-sided sticky sheet behind the images, and it would just make this so much easier. So I don't want to bore you in here covering all the different little images with double-sided tapes. I'm just going to cut this part of the footage out. And I added a couple of seashells and a starfish as well in there. So now it's time to assemble the card. I'm going to add my glue to the 2 by 2 inches of a square of that white cardstock that you can see sticking out of the card base, and this is going on the front obviously. And I'm going to use my grid mat to gauge how far up I want to go with my topper. Now I am going to go for a 6 by 6 inch in here, but it really wouldn't matter if I went up higher a bit, because I will have to make a personalized box for this one anyway. It is quite dimensional, and I like to add my cards inside the box. If you want to fit it into a 6 by 6 envelope, just make sure it will fit on a 6 by 6 inch grid on your mat. I'm using both double-sided tape and liquid glue in here because I want to make sure that it will stick real nice. I'm making sure everything is nice and straight. I've counted up 6 squares, which will be the 6 inch mark. And now I know that with my topper, I should not go up any higher than the 6 inch line in there. You can see how lovely it fits in there now. As I said, this one is quite a bulky one, so I will be making my own box anyway. But this is how you can make sure that this would fit into a certain envelope that you're using. Now that the card is ready, I'm going to show you some lovely close-up footage, video and images as well. At the end of this video, I will leave a link to a card I made not that long ago. It is a pop-up hexagonal card, but without the topper or without the springy thing inside, and it was such a beautiful card. Please be sure to check that one out as well. Make sure you head over to all the other ladies' videos to see what they made. I cannot wait to see what everyone has come up with this month for this lovely fancy fold. And do check out our Facebook group, again, link in the description box below. I really appreciate you watching this video today, and if you like this, please do not forget to give me the thumbs up. Leave me a comment in the comment section below, or if you have any questions, I would be just happy to answer. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please be sure you do so and hit the notification bell so you make sure you get notified anytime I upload new videos. I really loved having you here today, and I will be back very soon with a new one. Until then, bye!